This is the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast.
Hi, welcome back. Wheel of Time Spoilers, episode 5, quick reaction.
Yep, just
mostly brain jello.
we watched it. I had a chance to, I did a quick rewatch just because the first time it kind of blew my mind. So I had to go back and look at it again. But yeah, so it's so good. My first reaction though is I really have to admit that I have no idea what's going on from here on out. Right? Like before this point, I thought maybe I knew what was going to happen. Now, no idea. No idea whatsoever.
Yeah, that's definitely this episode was so intense of a mix of things I recognized and things I didn't recognize, and new plot twists that fill different needs, and so much emotion. Like, I haven't rewatched it yet, and I don't know that I have any coherent thoughts. Like, I know a few things I want to put a pin in to like rewatch and talk about on our deep dive. But we did promise you, our audience, that we would attempt to give you quick reactions relatively quickly after they drop. So here we are trying.
I want to start with the Forsaken statues.
Okay.
Like we saw 9, could be more. I'm not sticking with the 9 as a hard and set rule. That's how many statues he has. That's a minimum, not a maximum. I thought I could identify a good number of those statues as we panned across them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only one I recognized was Samael right off the bat, but there was just so many shadows, and I was trying to, but like I caught the fucking slanting scar across the face one. I was like, that's Samael, motherfucker.
I caught Grendel because she looks like a, sex goddess. I caught Lanfear because I saw the belt. I assume Ishamael was the one in front with the sort of burned face, like, because we've seen him, right? Like, so, yeah, and then there was a couple other ones who I can make assumptions about. Like, I think I saw Semirog. I think I saw Messana, yeah. So, I want to go back and figure out which ones that we did see, and I think that's going to be a really cool part of the breakdown, yeah.
I loved that way of having the Forsaken exist. I've been wondering, like, how do the Forsaken exist in common consciousness? And as these like inverse deities that you like inverse pray to, I thought that was really, really cool. Just that whole little bit of world building. We got so much mileage out of Steppen.
We did, yeah.
So much.
And for me, this was a Lan episode, even though he wasn't in it a whole lot until the very end. This was everything about Steppen, and his relationship with his warder was all about Lan and his relationship with both Moraine and then Nynaeve. Yeah, this was so much set up for Lan arc. And a lot of focus on him, especially at the end, which I have so many thoughts about the end. The TLDR, I love it, and there's good justifications for the things that seemed odd at first glance. Yes.
Really, really excited about talking about those funeral rites at the beginning and the end, and how they relate to each other. This was another reason why it's a very Lan episode is it's a very death-oriented episode.
And it's a beat of silence to me. Like, there wasn't a battle. There wasn't a lot of, I guess you could say, there was a battle. There was a battle. The Perrin and Egwene scene was a battle. But, like, with the rest of our characters, they've reached Tarvon. It's somewhat a place of safety. There's no active fighting going on for those who are in the city. And so for that group of people, it was more of a beat of, like, it's time to mourn from all the stuff we've experienced from the first 4 episodes. And
to start bringing them back together, too, to start regathering the party. Apparently, it's going to take 2 episodes, but to start the process.
And I felt a little bit of mourning from the show that I thought, like, I don't know how to describe this. This is the first time where I think I really felt that this is going to be something so different, And I had to mourn the show that I thought I was going to get. I mean, we all have to do that a little bit because, like, you don't know what the show's going to be till you see it, right? And so I think I finally had to come to that realization that, like, oh, okay, this is not the show. This is not exactly the show that I thought I was going to get. This is probably going to be better.
Yeah, I'd say that process for me started in episode 4, but I was still on that giddy high of like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen next. And now this episode was like, I don't know what's going to happen next. And now I'm worried and concerned. Like, this was a twofold process across these last 2 episodes. Because now I'm afraid.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that the whole White Cloak encounter attack had so much going on with it, and we're probably gonna spend an hour talking about it on its own. But the one thing I will say here at the top was I really enjoyed how non-sexualized that assault was. And the other, I mean, that's amazing. There's a lot to talk about there. The other funny thing was that, so Brandon's watching this with me, right? And he does not like torture scenes at all. And he was like, why are you making me watch this show about torture? And I'm just like, you don't watch TV. I forget this sometimes. This is the tamest, most respectful, most impactful torture scene I have seen in entertainment in so long. And he's over here just squirming, like, is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet?
The cross-hatching of the back made me wince. Like,
it's and it's really intense. It's horrifying. It's a serious assault, but the fact that it's not pornographic is insanely refreshing. And it doesn't really drives home.
It doesn't wallow in it. It's like, yes, he's experiencing pain, but it doesn't. The cuts don't go on and on and on and on. It's like, yes, this is happening. Okay, she channels. She's clever. She gets him out. Moving on. You know,
right, we're focusing on how horrible it is, not lingering.
Exactly.
And it's not done about sex. It's done about power and control, and that's just. It's refreshing. Again, with the Game of Thrones comparisons, you know how Game of Thrones was going to go that way.
And I mean, how much
where they would have gone with that scene.
And how much did you love the wolves stepping in to just take out the White Cloaks? And you know,
I loved the rescue being wolves instead of our party.
Sure.
That was like, okay, this is cool. It's a little out of character for the wolves, but also like this is his first touching, right? This is his wild, uncontrolled, I don't know what's happening use of his power. He would never do this on purpose, but like this is the first time.
Yeah.
So I really hope that they don't make his eyes flash gold. I hope that they just turn gold
Me too.
permanently. I get why they had it pulsing for this episode, but I really want them to just put him in contact from here out.
I'm wondering if there's going to be just a Berserker Rage thing, that they only do that in battle.
I'm hoping not. What else is
Loyal?
Well, So my thoughts on Loyal in brief, in very, very brief. I'm not fully on board with their style choices as far as making him a believable and affordable non-human creature. But his fucking performance absolutely stole the show, and they could dress him up in like the most ridiculous Oompa Loompa outfit for $15, and I would still buy it because his performance was perfect.
And the writing was actually very good as well. Him constantly like talking in the background as other people kept like would start their conversations, and he's just going off in the background, and like they nailed Loyal. I agree, visually he was jarring. Like this, and again, this is one of those I think I was talking about, you know, I had to mourn the vision of Loyal I had in my head. That's gone. You know, for the show anyway. I have to make an adjustment. I'm curious what non-book readers think about him. Quite a bit. But yeah, I want more. That's where I'm going with that. You know, the one thing I didn't like was the cut to Nynaeve and Loyal coming back from the White Tower.
That cut a lot of corners for expediency's sake. Yeah. Another thing interesting about that scene, or not the Nynaeve scene, but just Loyal's introduction, was that they did that straight out of the book.
Yes.
Like verbatim. And I thought it was one of the weakest moments of the whole episode. So just to drive home the point that doing a shot-for-shot, word-for-word adaptation is not actually as great as you would think it would be. Because I expected that to just be amazing. It's actually quite dull on screen. Maybe it's just because I knew what was coming. But I found that to be, I was grateful that they gave us that. Here is an example of a shot-for-shot scene. Do you see now why we have to adapt? Because I felt very disappointed by not disappointed. It just was weak.
Yeah.
It just felt like the least exciting, least impactful moment. And it should have been the most impactful because you have to do it to the book or else it's not good. Like, I feel like that drove that point home.
Yes. But again, what I think was lost somewhat in the impact of that moment is because his size wasn't as big. I think the reaction would have been more fearful if he was larger, like a if he was the size of a Trolloc, which is what I picture him on the stilts, like they put the Trollocs on the stilts.
Right, and they did bump his height up.
They did bump him up. He's a bigger than,
but not that much.
No. And so...
Yeah, Rand's reaction was less believable, because it's like, it's just a weird-looking human. Right. It's not a Trolloc.
Exactly. And then the line, oh, you're an ogre? No, I'm an ogier. Wait, do we have ogres?
I thought that was another necessary bringing people into the vocabulary. Again, like with Nynaeve, it's a little over-expedient, but it compresses things wonderfully. I did like the fact that they moved all of the Camelin stuff into Tarvalon,
yes.
with almost there's like no ripple there.
No.
They changed it from the Queen's blessing to the Light's blessing. They have a library. They have a crowded city. They have Fane. I heard Fane, but I didn't see him. I've now seen him in a GIF.
But I didn't hear him.
Oh, really?
Yes, I absolutely saw
Nice.
him. I was like, Fane! And then...
I heard the whistle and I was looking, but I didn't actually spot him until Twitter gave me a GIF. And I was like, oh, there it was. Okay, that makes sense.
A GIF to the GIF?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's funny where we're focusing our attention sometimes. I definitely, on my first watch through, I don't hear a lot of the audio, because what I'm doing is I'm reading subtitles and watching. So I'm very visual.
Yeah, I've been leaving the subtitles off for my first watch, so that way I can hear the soundscape and really focus on that and all the visual details in the background, and then I turn the subtitles on when I'm doing my notes.
Gotcha.
Also, because I find subtitles distracting. I can't not read them, so then I end up not seeing the thing, because my eyes refuse to get off the words.
Gotcha.
So the other thing we should probably touch on very briefly is the tower.
Sure, yeah.
The visually, oh my god, the ornateness.
I went, man, it feels kind of empty, and then I went, oh, well, yeah.
That would be canonically correct.
That would be correct. Yeah, no. So that was my only thought. But yeah, no, I loved it. I love the flame. Obviously, I have that as my background, as the Ring of Rings.
Oh yeah, that was. Like I was saying before, I love that addition.
I love Egwene bringing back 7 rings, which is going to bring her a ton of honor.
Oh my god, the amount of G she just took from Valda is off the charts.
Totally. Then we got to talk about, Leandrin. Leandrin as Elida.
I don't want it, but I can see it. Yeah. I can see them going there.
I think they are severely, and I also think Alana and Myrelle are getting combined. So we are cutting down on a lot of Aes Sedai, a lot of extraneous Aes Sedai, which, how many times have we said, name salad, give us fewer Aes Sedai. I am fine with that. Combine some roles.
I wonder if that means that Lan and Rand are going to end up with the same Aes Sedai at some point. That would be really weird.
I also wonder if they're just going to cut the Alana bonding of Rand and just have her basically be Myrelle.
And then when Rand gets bonded by Elaine, that's when he gets his warder power up. I could see that. I'd be okay with that.
We all know that's a problematic thing that never really gets addressed in the books. It would be let's not. And of all the massive changes they're making to this series, that's a nothing burger for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole Steppen Lan thing. I mean, I love the White Tower politics, but I don't know how to briefly skim over that. There's just so much in the Aes Sedai interactions that I just I can't short form that.
I do love one thing I do have to say is Alana mistaking Suan for an enemy of Moiraine's. Be like, you've got 2 enemies. You got Leandrin and Suan, because Suan thinks you're a challenger, and we're all just going.
I know all the book readers are just dying.
Well, we already saw her whisper her name as she was dying. Obviously she loves the woman, right? That's for me, obviously, So yeah, no, I can't wait to see that. And then the land, the Steppen land, the impact there, the fact that Nynaeve gave him the powder that he used to then drug Lan, the fact that Nynaeve told him the pain never goes away before he killed himself, the guilt that Nynaeve is going to feel and how that's going to affect her relationship with Lan, and the fact that they were close. I mean, it was. Again, just developing that relationship between Lan and Nynaeve. That's why I say this was such a Lan and Nynaeve chapter. Is that was their relationship was at the center of it, and it was all about Steppen.
Yeah. There's oh my god, just so the love that these people are bringing to the production is just painfully wonderful. And I was binging my way through some bonus content yesterday and just having my mind blown at all the comments that the actors and the staff are making about this. And just, I normally don't like behind the scenes stuff. Normally it ruins the magic for me, but because I care so much about the series, seeing how every director, every actor, every set designer who gets interviewed is just over the moon about this and into it and understands what we care about it. It's really like that clip about how Nynaeve was outrunning the car, like it just, all this stuff. And then I see them performing and I know what's happening behind the scenes, and like there are all these interviews I'm not even watching that our various content creator friends are doing. I'm not even watching those interviews yet, but I know I'm going to go back after the season's over and just marinate in the love oozing out of this. That's apparent on screen. We get these like 5 seconds, but it took all these hours for them to set up to where they caught that 5 seconds, and it fucking shows.
Well, and if I have a complaint, it's that I want the show to have more time to breathe. It doesn't breathe. And like, I want them to have 10, okay, what happened to 26 episodes in a season when I was growing up, right? Like, when I said TV series, that's what I'm talking about. I want 26 episodes for Eye of the World. No, or at least like maybe cut it in half. Give us 13. Give us half a normal season, right? Like, I don't know when 8 episodes became the standard. I guess streaming took over. But I do, and I understand that money, part of the reason they could do 26 episodes is they were very cheaply made. And we would not want that level of quality for this sort of TV show. So
right, we don't want plywood doors for metal. Yeah.
So I am happy to get what we are getting. But man, I would love an extended cut of some of these. Like, show me Loyal and Nynaeve meeting in the garden. Like, that would do so much. There's so many little scenes that, like, an extra 5 minutes, an extra 10 minutes of it in each episode would have made everything just flow so much smoother. But, it doesn't mean I don't love what's there. I love everything about what I'm getting.
We just want more of it, that's
exactly.
all.
It's like, waiter, this food is terrible and the portions are too small. And that's what the portions are just too small. I want more. So
that's our feelings on episode 5 in less than 20 minutes. We will be back eventually with a deep dive that will take probably literally 5 hours or more.
Absolutely, yeah.
There was a lot to get into here, so stay tuned to our channel. Hit the bell for notifications, follow us on social media, donate to our Patreon, all that good stuff, and keep an eye out for the next one we're going to be releasing is episode 3 deep dive. That's the next one that will get published of the deep dive series here. And we'll see you around. Keep enjoying the show.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for listening to the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast. Rate us in the Apple Podcast app or support us on Patreon. Is that good enough?